Randy McKee here at Soccer 605, and I'm here again with Coach Clay Glasgow at the Dakota Wesleyan Women. Just finished up watching the AA girls final, which, you know, I don't know, some people might have predicted it'd go that way. I thought it might be a little bigger than that. How about you?
You know, first I want to congratulate both coaches on reaching it this far. It was a really, really good contest. You know, Gorman, this is probably one of the better games I've seen them play. Lincoln, at the same time, I mean, they're really solid team, you know, all around. The goalkeeper, pretty solid, Meg in the goal. They scored some awesome goals. They're just a tough team to beat.
Yeah, you know, and I'll tell you what, some of the adjustments that Ryan Byer had to make with O'Gorman, you know, having Molly Dessel out at center back with a torn ACL, you know, they were able to play without her, and they showed that against Washington when she went out. But not having her in there and having to put another player in there is bound to have an impact on the team.
You know, definitely. You know, as good as the group is, having those individual players makes a big difference. Especially when you play the whole season with them, and you know, come to final, you don't have that one player. It takes away a lot in the game, you know, psychologically too. But you know what? I give the other girls and them credit for stepping up. Weber went in the back. You know, I thought they played really, really well.
You know, you know, you take a look at the preparation of the teams and how they're playing the other team's strengths, and you know, I thought Lincoln did a wonderful job keeping Alyssa Weidler kind of in their sights. They did a great job with Teresa Pajato in the middle of the park. You know, they didn't give Teresa very many good looks, and you can't, because if you do, she's going to beat you.
You know, and I give credit to Steve to that. Steve obviously scouted them. You know who the dangerous players are. You know, and as you said, she had no room. I mean, every time she received the ball, she had at least a player on her back, you know. And then another player closed her down. Alyssa, great player, a lot of speed. She had a hard time getting behind as well. You know, so I give credit to Steve and, you know, his coaching and preparation for this final.
And Coach Byer had a good scheme for Lincoln. I mean, it's not like these two teams are strangers to each other. I mean, the girls all know each other, the coaches know each other. They played against each other time after time, and you know, I just have to think that, you know, today at least with the personnel that they had on the field, Lincoln, you know, probably was justified in winning that game 3-1.
Both teams play well, and I think, you know, it comes down to, you know, a lot of it, a luck. You know, you make you know, the team that in these games like that, in my opinion, the teams that makes the less mistakes normally come out most of the time the victorious team, and you can see it in this game. You know, with the breakdowns, both defensively. Lincoln's be able to get behind a couple of times, and they finish their chances. You got to remember, there was not much chances in this game, and when they did get the chances, they utilized every one of them.
You know, that first goal that Julie Teslo scored, that big long bomber across with a little bit of, you know, that's almost an impossible ball for a goalkeeper to track down high in the air, wind bouncing it around, sun in your eyes, you know, and she dropped it right back, and you know, looked like pretty much the upper 90 on the back post.
You know, I don't know if it's in the women games, but those keepers have a hard time judging those high balls like that. You know, they're really, really difficult for goalkeepers, and it was like 50 yards out. I mean, I don't know if she meant to cross it or that was a shot, but at the end of the day, it went in, and it was, you know, she get credit for it, and it's a goal.
Well, I bet if you talk to Julie and ask her, she'll tell you it was a shot, whether it was or not. But you know, it looked to me like she was aiming for the goal, and you know, I'll tell you, you know, it went in. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, definitely. But you know what? It was a good soccer game, to be honest. It was a well-fought game. I think both teams tried to play soccer. You know, the connect, some passes in the midfield, and you know, I was really, really satisfied with the level. You know, it did be in the first sanction, you know, state, you know, tournament. I was well attended, and one of the thanks all the fans for coming out. I mean, look at and we probably have over 500, 600, 700 people here. You know, this is fantastic.
It really is, and you look around, you see. We just had the O'Gorman girls walk by, and there was a lot of dejection there. But they absolutely should not be pinning their entire season's happiness on this one game. O'Gorman had a tremendous season this year.
O'Gorman, they have a really good program. Ryan, in his years coaching and I coaching against him, they have won the championship a couple of times. And they got a pretty young team, and I know they're going to rebuild and they're going to come even stronger than they did this year. But same thing with Lincoln. They got a big senior class, and I know Steve. He got a pretty good young group coming up. So I think next year, I expect both these teams to be challenged as well.
Yeah, I agree completely. The thing about with O'Gorman losing, Christina Wagner earlier in the season, their sophomore keeper Olivia Sorrell really stepped up and had a great job. I don't know what they're going to be doing over at Lincoln to try to replace Maggie Smither, because she's a player that's almost impossible to replace.
She is. One thing is to break down the defense, but when you get by the defense, you see you got Maggie. You're like, oh boy, She's really awesome, and she made an impact in this game. It's really hard to score on her. The hard was to score PK, but she's going to deeply be missed. And I'm sure there's a younger player there that Steve going to make, probably going to give her opportunity. But yeah, the team going to miss her, and, I sure that Maggie, she have a bright future ahead of her.
Well, that's true, and a lot of these girls do. They're, all these seniors that both teams are losing have really made a great contribution. And, Carol reminded me on the way over here today that this graduating class, we're all freshmen when we started Soccer 605 in earnest, and so this is kind of our first graduating class too.
That's that got to feel awesome. We lost a good senior group this year. That is moving on, and they definitely have left a great impact on the programs and on the whole on the state soccer wise, and this group, we're going to remember them for years to come.
You're right. Well, Coach Glasgow, thanks very much for spending a few minutes with us and weighing in on what you thought and how the game went, and we're very grateful for your expertise here. So I'm sure we'll be catching you down the road. We got another crew lined up to talk about this boys game coming up, Roosevelt Lincoln. Boy, what a game that's going to be.
Yeah. Thank you again, Randy, and you and your wife, you guys doing a great job. Appreciate everything you guys doing. But thanks for coming out again, and I'm sure going to see you around probably at one of my games.
I hope so. Thank you for watching Soccer 605.